Yo, Triple Eight Mega here, Bad Deck Enthusiast, and today I'm here with an actual good deck, a Tier 1 Meta Contender deck, branded DESPIA. Now, for all you guys know, this is my favorite deck, and now it's at full power. We managed to hit Diamond 1. It wasn't too hard, I would say it was pretty easy, but first, we're super close to 100 subscribers. I would like to reach 200, so please like and subscribe. It means the world to me. Now let's get to the deck list. So I've been playing this deck when it was bad. I've been playing it when it was really bad. When I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! The first deck I picked up was DESPIA. They didn't have Masquerade at the time, it was just Claritis. There was no branded in red. This is before, right around the time Master Duel got announced. And pretty much, I picked up this deck, I practiced it a lot, and then they got more support. I was a big fan of the artwork and the lore. I thought it was super cool. And now that it's at full power and it's potentially Tier 1, I do say that this deck is pretty good. So let's get to the deck list. I'm going to separate it into different portions. So you have the DESPIA cards, which is 2 Tragedy. You can play Comedy. Comedy is pretty good against like targeting effects or like dodging skill drain and stuff like that. But I had cut it for consistency. I'm playing Triple Aliber, 1 Drama, 1 Ad Libitum. You don't have to play Dramaturge, but I do think that if you're pushing for game, it is pretty good sometimes, and it does come up. Next, we're playing the Patchwork engine, so that's your double fight for Patchwork, double Edged Chain, double Polymerization. I was playing more, but it was a little bricky, so I trimmed it down to 2-2-2, and it worked out pretty fine. Next, we're playing Albaz. We're playing 3 Albaz. He's like the main guy of the deck. Some people play 2. I like knowing that there's a 3rd Albaz in the deck, so I like playing 3, but you can do as you wish. Next is the Branded Loss package. So it's 1 Branded Loss, and what this card does is when you fusion summon any monster, it can search for a form of Albaz or monster that lists it. So your Loss package includes Ecclesia, Mercurier, Kit, and Albion the Shrouded Dragon. And what they do is, Ecclesia, you're probably familiar with it. It special summons if your opponent has more monsters than you. You can special summon an Albaz and Sword Soul from the deck. We're not playing any Sword Souls, but Albaz from the deck is like a Super Poly on legs, and that's pretty cool. Mercurier is a hand trap negate monster effect. If you control a fusion monster that lists form of Albaz as material, and when it's banished, it can add a form of Albaz or monster that lists it to your hand. So I'm playing 3 to pair it up with a Lure of Darkness, but you can play 1. 1 is fine. It doesn't really hurt to play 1 at all. But 3, I was just trying to get the combo going, and when it came up, it was really busted. Spriggan's Kit is another part of the Lost package. What it does is it searches a branded spell or trap from your hand, to your hand, from your deck or graveyard or banish, and that's pretty cool. It also special summons itself if you have a monster that lists form of Albaz in the graveyard, a fusion monster. So any of these guys will do it, except Claritis, because for some reason it doesn't work like that. And then you have Albion, which can foolish a branded spell trap or a form of Albaz from your deck to the grave, so then make you shuffle it back into the deck and draw a card. Or does it go to the bottom of the deck and draw a card? I think it goes to the bottom of the deck and you draw a card, which is pretty cool. It helps you like see your cards when your hand's kind of bad. It also can send Branded Sword, which has the option to banish itself, to add back any of your monsters that lists form of Albaz back to your hand. This includes the fusion monsters. They can go back into the extra deck as well. Might come up, doesn't usually come up that much, but recycling back Mercurier is so busted that playing 1 is pretty cool. Retribution is a counter trap. It lets you shuffle 1 form of Albaz fusion monster from your field or 2 from the graveyard into the deck to negate a special summon or a monster that would special summon. So it's pretty cool. Also in the graveyard, you can banish it to recycle back a branded spell trap from the graveyard to the hand. So it's technically a 4th branded fusion. You could also use it to get your branded in red during a grind game, branded opening if you just need more monsters. or even lost. If your loss was popped and you want to get it back, and that's pretty cool as well. And that's the deck. We're also playing Super Poly because why not? Imperm could literally be anything. It could be Token Collector, it could be Nibiru, it could be Ash Blossom. As you can see, I'm not playing Ash Blossom, but you can. I would say if you wanted to play Ash Blossom, you would probably cut down your Mercurius, maybe one Albaz, and maybe the Allures. And then you squeeze in your Ash Blossoms or your Maxis or whatever you want. And that's pretty much the deck. For the extra deck, we have Starving Venom, Titaniclad. These are your two outs for Arrival Cyberse at Ignister. So do not cut both. You can cut one, but do not cut both. Dragostapelia is a good fusion monster that can negate a monster effect on the field. Triple Albion is questionable, but I do like playing 3. Because you're often pitching 1 to the grave with Mara Jade. I also like to summon him because that's how you get your lights into the graveyard. And it's also how you push for game because Albion's not held back from attacking when he fusion summons, unlike Lubellion. Lubellion cannot attack when he fusion summons. So if you want to push for game, you want to go Albion. And if you're just setting up, you kind of want to go Lubellion. And we're playing Double Masquerade because taxes are a hell of, we're playing Double Masquerade. There's a line to summon both turn 1, but I'm not familiar with it that much. And it didn't come up because I was always on the Maxi a lot. And so when you're on the Maxi, you kind of just want to get Mara Jade pass. Mara Jade Branded in Red pass is a good enough pass for Maxi. Double Lubellion, Double Guardian Chimera, Double Mara Jade, those are standard. And that's the deck. Next I'm going to show you a few duels from my climb to Diamond 1. And thank you for watching. So, this first duel I want to show you is up against Dragon Link, but it's a 60 card Dragon Maid variant, kind of. I'm not that familiar with it, but it looks pretty cool, and they had some cool plays. We open up Albaz, Ecclesia, Patchwork, Branded in Red, and Imperm, so we only have 1 interruption really, and let me show you. So he normals the Tracer, he goes into Striker Dragon. I don't want to see any boot sector launch shenanigans, so I'm going to Imperm this right here. But boy does he have extenders. Summons the White Dragon, Vanishing Tracer, goes into Romulus. Romulus will search Ravine, White Dragon will search Black Dragon. Then he goes into, adds the Ravine as well. Ravine. Then he goes Black Dragon, Vanishing White Dragon, goes into Pisty. Black Dragon will then add a White Dragon. Ravine will then pitch a Tidying to send a Double Disruptor Dragon. Double Disruptor Dragon will banish itself to add Rapid Trigger. Quick Launch will then summon a Rocket Tracer from the deck. Tracer will pop Field Spell to summon Recharger. We're going to make Borreload Savage Dragon here. Borreload Savage will then take the Striker Dragon for a negate. Special summon Caliber to a zone. Especially into Striker Dragon. Now that you have 2 zones pointing in the same place, you can summon the Double Disruptor. Double Disruptor's effect will then tribute to summon 2 rockets from the grave. And now we're going to make Chaotic Ruler. And we're going to mill 5 cards, adding a Light or Dark. But because he doesn't hit any, they all just go to the graveyard. Next he's going to make the Lingerous Dragon. Now he's going to pop it with the Striker to get the Recharger. Triggering the Recharger to then send itself to the grave. To special summon back a monster. Summons back the Tracer, the Lingerous will summon itself, and here goes big old Boral and Dragon. He's going to target his Tracer to negate it to summon back the Recharger. Chaotic Ruler will then send a Light in the Dark to summon itself, and set a card. So he has Rapid Trigger face down, which I forgot during the duel, and then he has, which is a target negate that I can't respond to, and an Omni negate. So we draw to Branded Fusion for turn. We special Ecclesia. I wanted to see if he would just negate this for no reason, but he didn't act. Fight for Patchwork will then add a Poly and an Edging Chain. So we're going to use Poly here. Once again, I want to see if he negates it, but he doesn't negate it. So we're going to go into Guardian Chimera, and we're going to Chain Block it with the Edging Chain. So now it's untargetable because we have Poly in a grave, so he can't target us, so he targets his other monster to negate it to summon back the Caliber. And because we're Chain Block, we pop the Savage Dragon, he can't respond, and we're free to use Branded Fusion, so we send Tragedy and Aliber, and Albaz to the grave. I mixed them up a lot. We're going to pitch the Patchwork. It's kind of dead now. He's going to Rapid Trigger, destroying 2 monsters to fusion summon this Warlord Furious Dragon. And Mirror Jade is going to summon. So, a couple things you got to know is Rapid Trigger. It has an effect that the monster is unaffected by activated effects from monsters, especially from the extra deck. So we couldn't banish this even if we wanted to. So we have to banish this anyway because we can't beat over it. This card also can target a card on his field and a card on our field and destroy them both. And so we're going to try to banish this. He's going to try to destroy us. But we have Mercurius, so we negate. And we banish that. And then we go branded in red for the Tragedy. And we're going to make Quiritis here. Quiritis will make his monster small, except for the level 8 fusion. And we're going to summon back Dramaturge. And we're going to clear his field. And it's GG. Yeah, that was it. Good game. Cool deck. I do think I want to like build Dragon Link in the future. So it was really cool that we got to play through it. And we got to go second against it. So this next duel, we're going up second against Emancipators. And our hand is pretty okay for going second. We have Super Poly, Albaz, Mercurial, Brandon in red, and Retribution. And let's see how this goes. So he's going to normal the Doki Doki, pitching Analyzer, special summon the Guardian, Foolish for Revival Golem, summon back the Revival Golem. He's going to make Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite will then send the Revival Golem to add a Block Dragon. Now we're going to banish 3 to special summon the Block Dragon. We're going to then link away from Masquerena, which will then trigger the Block Dragon to add a Seeker, a Researcher, and a Gigantus. So, plus 3, easy. Researcher will special summon. He's going to hit a Doki Doki, special the Doki Doki, special the Gigantus. He's going to make Raptite. Raptite will then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hits a Researcher. He's going to banish 3, summon Block Dragon. He's going to make Baron the floor. Next he specials the Seeker. And he's going to make Hulk. Hulk will then summon from the deck an O-Lion. And we're going to make Herald of Arclight. And then we get an O-Lion token. And we end this turn. So for us now, we can play through this kind of. It's not really that bad. We draw Branded Fusion for turn. So let's see how this goes through. So we're going to summon an Albaz. We're going to send a Branded in red because if our play goes through, we're going to have our own another Branded in red anyway. He's going to try to negate with Baron. So we're going to discard the Retribution, which can also get us back our Branded in red. But we're going to Super Poly with the Herald of Arclight. So he wasted his Baron negate, he lost his Herald of Arclight negate. Next he goes Raptite to banish the Albaz. We're just going to use Retribution for no reason to add back the Branded in red. He goes Masquerena, we go Mercurial. And that's it for him. He realizes where this game is going. We still have Branded Fusion in hand. We also have Branded in red. We had a lot of follow-up, but I'm not sure whether he knew that or not. But it was a GG for him, and for me too. So this next duel is us against Rose Dragon Tenyi. Adventurer Rose Dragon Tenyi, and we're also going second here. So what I like to do, I play hold 1 now, which means that you have to like hold the mouse if you want to have an interaction. You hold the left click, and if you hold the right click, it'll toggle off. So what I did was I toggled off during this duel, and I just let him play because I know that 1 infirm isn't going to make a difference unless he misplays and doesn't think I have and doesn't think I have anything at all. And that's what happens. So he goes into, he summons his Omni Negate, but then he makes Tomahawk, and he goes into his tokens, and then he's going to make Auroradon, and that's when I fire the Imperm. So I fire the Imperm right here, and that pretty much ends his turn. He didn't have any contingencies for that. He lost his token. He sets a card, and now here we go. So I have Aliber and Albaz, but if he has Imperm and I summon Aliber, then that ends my turn. So I wanted to summon Albaz just to discard the Edge of Chain, and best case scenario, we get to make Mirror Jade. So we send the Edge of Chain, he activates Max Seas, which shows me that he doesn't have anything else. And here we go, here goes the Mirror Jade. Edge of Chain will then add Patchwork. We're going to use the Patchwork. Mirror Jade will then banish the token. We're going to make a Masquerade. We're going to try to trigger the Tragedy. And we add a Drama to hand. So Drama is the card you add to your hand when you want to push for lethal damage. And because we have Brandon in red, we just go to battle phase. We activate the Brandon in red. He's going to call by the Grave Us. But he takes 600. So Brandon in red's dead, but because we have Albion, we just set a new Brandon in red. And now he has to out it again. So he goes Harpy's Feather Duster. We're going to go Brandon in red here. Add the Albaz. We're going to get rid of the Mirror Jade because we use its negate. I mean, it's banish. But Masquerade is still, his life points are pretty low. Masquerade is still pretty threatening. We're going to get rid of this so he can't like search with it. He's going to max CS again, which is fine. We draw 2 and pop 1. He's going to summon Taya. And he's going to burn for under 100, and then that's it. GG. He had no more actions, so even if he would have went Chi Zhao, it didn't matter. He couldn't legally activate a single card. So he got clapped. So this next duel, we're finally going first. We're going to draw phase, Branded opening. He's going to max CS. So instead we're just going to add the Aliber to our hand instead of special summoning it. And then we're going to normal summon Aliber, add the Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion will then send Tragedy and Albaz, summon Lubellion. Tragedy will then add ad libitum. We're going to pitch the Lord of Darkness to summon Mirror Jade. We get the ad libitum here. We're going to banish the Aliber so that we can send Albion to the grave to get our Brandon in red. But he ashes us. So I think he drew into that ash with the Max C. I'm not sure. But if not, then he held it all the way into the end of my turn, which kind of doesn't make sense. So I believe he drew into it. We still have 2 imperms, so we're fine. He's going to go Ecclesia. Ecclesia will then tribute to special summon Moya, showing us Taya. We're going to negate this. Better have a follow-up. So Pot of Desires, banish 10 off the top of the deck, draw 2. Right into Long Yawn, pitching the Taya. He's going to get Long Yawn and a token. Special summon, send a Shuna to summon from the deck the Tuner. And he goes into Qixing. So right now he's locked into Worms. But I was scared of Hulk. I wasn't paying attention. I was scared of Hulk. But it didn't matter. Because once I see Taya, I have to negate that. So we negate the Taya. He's going to activate Qixing, which banishes and burns us. And then he's going to go into Monk of the Tenyi. He's going to add back the Ashuna to then summon it. Oh, he can't summon it. He goes into Shaman. He's going to pitch the Ashuna to summon back the Monk. And then all of this was to try to pop my Mirror Jade. But we have Branded opening in the graveyard. So he misplayed, minus 1500 kept W. He's going to beat over us, but our effect activates, and because he can't clear life points, he's going to lose all his monsters in the end phase. Mirror Jade, boom, blows up his field. So now, to play around Called by the Grave, I'm going to fire off this Branded in red. He Called by the Graves it. And we baited him because we have Tragedy in the graveyard. Gives us our Branded Fusion back. Activate Branded Fusion. Summon the Albion. Albion will then activate, but he's going to imperm us. But we have Snow because we went Albion. So we banish 7, including the Albion. And we leave an Albaz in the grave. and we fuse it with the ad libitum in our hand to get Masquerade, and then the ad libitum summons back the Mirror Jade, and that's it. We have lethal on board. We played around his Imperm, and it's called by the grave, and that was GG for us. So this next duel is the last duel. This was my last duel to rank up to Diamond 1, and we're playing a freaking mirror match. So yeah, a mirror match of sorts. So we go Allure, blind Allure because we didn't really have anything, and we ripped into Alibur. He's gonna go Effect Veiler, but we have the Call by the Grave. So get that out of here. Call by the Grave negated. Branded Fusion. We activate the Branded Fusion. We send the Tragedy and the Albaz. And this is your standard turn 1 play. You want to do this. We're gonna pitch the Drama because having a Despia in the grave isn't bad when you have Branded in red already. And because we have Branded in red already, we're just gonna set. We're not gonna banish our Alibur. We're chilling. We have an Imperm, we have Branded in red. He's going to Super Poly us right away. Pitching a Alibur. He's going to go into Claritis. And then we're going to trigger our Mirror Jade. He goes right of Mercer to get the token. We add back the Dramaturge. We're going to fuse it together with Claritis of our own, and which will then trigger the Ad-Lib to summon back the Mirror Jade, as well as the Dramaturge to summon itself. He's going to Branded Opening in the chain to summon an Alibur, and so because the chain resolves backwards, we summon Dramaturge before we summon the Mirror Jade, so it can activate. So since he's the turn player, he gets Alibur chain with 1, we get Dramaturge chain with 2, and that's GG. Yeah, that's the deck. I do think that this deck is better. The pure version is better than the adventure version because, like, the deck just doesn't have much synergy. Like, not being able to normal summon Alibur is asking a lot already in a deck that has so many moving parts and pieces that need to work together to make it work. So, GG to him. We hit Diamond 1. And let me show you guys the deck one more time. So last but not least, once again, here's the deck list. And yeah, Konami made sure this deck was very expensive. They knew it was good. So I do recommend this deck, but yeah, just keep in mind that it's very expensive. I will say the core of the deck though is you don't need 3 Mercurier. 1 is fine. You don't need 3 Albaz. You can play 2. You definitely want to have 3 Branded Fusion. You definitely want Branded Loss. You don't really have to play Super Poly, but you might as well because it's very good. And Imperm, you don't need Imperm. So I would say this is the core of the deck. Just like this. You don't need Allure of Darkness. You can play 2 Albion if you want. You probably shouldn't cut any of these because these are your Super Poly targets right here. And yeah, that's the deck. It's cool. It's strong. It got me to Diamond 1 pretty quickly. And if it works for me, it can work for you. Peace out.